the Thar. Now, it needs no introduction. This is an icon that's been around for almost 10 years. And I'm smiling because we expected the next generation to be, well, exciting. But here is the next generation, and I have to tell you, it is so much more than exciting. You could almost call it path-breaking.
This pathbreaker is also a heartbreaker, mostly at Jeep headquarters. And we don't mean that in a good way. But for us, it is all good. This Jeep Wrangler lookalike is muscular, but not rustic. Traditional, yet modern. And it has grown bigger. It is 65mm longer than before, its wheelbase is 20mm longer, and more importantly, it is massively wider to broaden its appeal.
Of course, Mahindra wanted to make this more than just a niche product, and you can feel that here with the interiors, with the way the exteriors look. Everything feels more plush, feels more usable. The added width of the cabin, of course, makes this more appealing as well. The forward-facing bench makes it more appealing.
A hardtop roof makes it more appealing too, because the Thar will be usable on hot days, rainy days, and every day by keeping your belongings safe.
Take 'em high, now take 'em higher. You ain't hot, now you on fire. Don't let nobody ever tell you different, cause as long as you stay true in all you do and never giving in, you gotta level up.
What's also vital in making this a better everyday vehicle is the sound insulation. I'm going to wind the windows up so you can hear me clearly. Right? It is so silent. I'm not kidding you. And you can see that, you know, the panels inside the Thar, there are no clanging sounds coming across over here. There are no bumps or thunks. And even when you're driving it around, it generally is managing to cut out a lot of the outside noise. A lot more than you would have expected for something like this. To go with the versatility of the new Thar is the steering. Just look at how light it is without getting overly light. So just easy to drive, maneuver in the city as well. Great. Clutch is, I mean, this is the diesel I'm driving with the manual transmission. The clutch isn't too heavy. In fact, very easy to manage. And the brakes are sharp, so even if you need to make emergency stops, easily done.
But let's be clear, the steering does feel a bit vague, and when you brake hard, you can feel all the weight of the Thar.
Now, this being an off-roader, like a proper true blue off-roader, it's body on frame. And the suspension is also designed to tackle the really big bumps and hits that you get over there. Which is why right now driving over a concrete patch, which is not the best for sure in terms of smoothness, you can see how much the Thar is bobbing around, right?
This improvement is down to the new coil spring rear suspension and the new chassis. But if you like to do hundreds of kilometers every day, keep in mind it won't be as convenient or car-like to drive like your Creta.
The difference is now the old Thar compared to the new Thar, that earlier it would be annoying and would feel a bit crude. Now it doesn't.
There's a big change in the way the Thar drives because it's got all new, more powerful engines.
So you now get the petrol, which is a 2-liter turbo petrol that makes about 150 horsepower, 320 Newton meters of torque, available with a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed torque converter. So an automatic on the Thar with a petrol engine. That's huge, right? aside from that, you're also getting the diesel with an auto or a manual. Now, on the top end variant, the LX, you only get the diesel with the automatic and the manual, or the petrol with the automatic. The petrol manual is not available on the LX right now.
The all-new turbo petrol direct injection motor is creamy smooth and very torquey.
Gearbox, not the sharpest. This is the automatic I'm talking about, the 6-speed automatic. It does things smoothly. Isn't focused on doing them fast. So the shifts, especially the upshifts, really smooth. Downshifts every once in a while you can feel them, you know, kind of just whirring through it a little bit. Not perfectly smooth. But to drive and to live with, I wouldn't worry about driving all the way back. An hour can be done easily. Now we're spending time with the 2.2 liter diesel with the 6-speed manual transmission. First, this engine is also really nice and refined.
Do not confuse this M-Hawk 2.2 with the old engine. This is an all-new all-aluminium motor. Even if you leave the genetics aside, you'll see that it feels ultra smooth and drivable.
In fact, it's so drivable that you can leave it just in third gear for pretty much all of your city commuting, unless you drop down to below 20 kilometers an hour, which is when you'll have to go to second. Otherwise, you can just stick to third. Obviously, the petrol is quieter, smoother. But if you probably wanted to do long distances, this might be a good companion.
The lower AX variant also gets the petrol and diesel engine options. However, you only get manual transmissions there.
The key differences between the two variants: the AX is the more workhorse variant. It's got more seats. It's got 2 side-facing seats instead of the forward-facing bench on the LX. Aside from that, it gets 16-inch wheels, and I'm sure to keep cost in check, we don't have cost right now, it comes with the soft top fixed roof. You have the option of getting a roll cage and the foldable roof, rather the convertible, or the hardtop. You have that option even on the AX, but that is an option. Whereas on the LX, which is the higher variant, you straight away get the option of getting either the convertible or the fixed roof, the hardtop, which we've got here. You also end up getting a bit more in terms of features in the LX. There's the touchscreen infotainment system with what is called as, I love reading that out, adventure statistics. So there's on-road adventure statistics, which gives you how much power, torque you're using, the G-forces, whereas the off-road statistics show you how much roll, pitch the vehicle is experiencing at that point where your wheels are pointed. So to help you that little bit more when you're driving off-road.
The LX also packs a bit more of safety.
You get ESP basically on top of the airbags and ABS that's there on the AX variant. So the ESP allows you to use the brakes to transfer torque via the differential. So it gives you that much an added layer of sophistication for off-road use before having to go to that mechanical rear differential to really plow through stuff. Right now all we're plowing through is mobile traffic.
The LX also gets hill hold and hill descent control to make things easier while driving off-road. And with electronic shift on the fly, you can go from 2-wheel high to 4-wheel high even while driving. And of course, there is a 4-wheel low mode which is easier to engage. Overall, the Thar's basic design has also improved. It gets better departure and breakover angles, and the ground clearance has improved too. But even if you aren't into off-roading, there are some rugged elements that you will love on the Thar.
So the Thar is doing a couple of cool Wranglery things, which full credit to it for attempting. First, a washable interior. Not really washable actually.
The floor mats and footwell can be washed off, as you have drain plugs to let the water out. And if you're wondering about the switches, well, they are IP54 rated. So
it's basically something that can take a light drizzle or a slightly, well, heavy-ish downpour for a brief bit until you can put the roof back on. You're looking at all these lines and thinking that, yeah, those panels should come off. Well, actually, you can't. But you can remove something. The doors. The doors, the hinges have just a couple of bolts on them. You unscrew those and there's one harness connector. Disconnect that, chuck the doors out and off you go. I mean, it'll be great. It'll be a great look, but only allowed for off-roading, of course.
yes, the roof isn't welded shut, so you can unscrew it using some tools. But that's not the same thing as turning a couple of knobs or pulling a couple of levers like on the Wrangler.
So the key difference between the old Thar and the new Thar is I couldn't have convinced my wife to buy one and it'd be like a family wedding. It would have been an indulgence, my indulgence. With the new Thar, the appeal is stronger than before. But more importantly, it's the ease of use that's much stronger than before. And so it might be possible to pitch this as the next family vehicle for some of us out there. And hopefully, a lot of us succeed. Of course, that is also dependent on the pricing, which we don't have just now and will be announced on the 2nd of October. The current Thar's pricing is about 10 lakh rupees. So this one, you can expect it to start then definitely go upwards because it's larger, more feature-packed, more versatile. But let's see just by how much it goes further up. Hopefully, not too much. Thanks so much for watching. Do remember to subscribe, like the video and share it. Signing off from ZigWheels, this is Karthik.